Welcome back to the JustBeCos podcast, a podcast about all things life and cosplay. Now, this is it. We're back into the swing of things. It's your boy, Jeremy, Mangle Phantom, and like I mentioned last week, we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to start delving into how cosplay kind of affects us in our life, or where it takes us, rather than just about what cosplay is all about itself. And to do that today, like you've all been waiting for, to get some bloody guests on this show, guess what? I did it! So, because we're doing audio only, it's actually been a bit easier to work it out. So I've scheduled a Discord call with one of my good mates. You guys hopefully would have seen him around the Australian cosplay community. He's really good looking, muscular as hell, and really, really cool guy. So, welcome to the show, Cosplay Coach, Tony. Tony, say hi.
Hey Jeremy, thank you for having me, and thank you for the compliments. That's thrown me off already.
Oh, good. Okay, let's get you uncomfortable straight off the bat.
Yeah, geez.
Now, Tony, for anybody who doesn't know you at all, they're saying, because you're just going to be a voice behind a microphone today. There's no audio. We're going to have this beautiful picture of you. If you guys have watched the thumbnail, you can... Oh, look at those veins popping out of his muscles and that chiseled jawline. Tell us, Tony, tell us a bit about yourself.
You're making me blush, man. Jeez.
Oh, good.
I am, well, obviously I'm Tony, Cosplay Coach. I'm a personal trainer, and I've been a personal trainer for the past 7 or 8 years now, but I'm also a cosplayer, and I've been technically like cosplaying properly for about 3 years now. So it's a little bit about me.
Yeah, cool.
To start off with.
You mentioned you're a personal trainer, and you're
Yeah.
obviously quite fit as a personal trainer because that's your profession. But is that something that you've always done since like day one? So when you were a kid, like, yeah, no, dude, I want to keep fit. That's like my passion. Is that what it's always been?
Nah, it was actually the total opposite. Like, I grew up just like a normal kid. Well, not really a normal kid. My life has been anything but normal. But I grew up, not very fit, not very athletic, not even interested in any sort of sports or fitness activities. I just remember, like, instead of me going to like school soccer matches, I would much rather be at home playing Smash Brothers on the GameCube. Like, that was my thing. My friends used to pay me out about not being able to run around a soccer pitch because I would just get puffed out and just feel like I was going to die. And yeah, I was not an athletic person. But then I left high school and started martial arts. And that's when I had been bitten by the bug just a little bit before that, where I got my first weight set at home. And then I just sort of threw myself into that. Went and got a degree in electrical engineering.
Oh.
Worked a few jobs out of that. And then I decided that wasn't for me, and decided, I actually really do love health and fitness and I have a passion for it. So let's go and try and make a career out of it. So that was 9 years ago now. So yeah. Yeah,
right. Cool. And when cosplay is related, how did you kind of get started with that? Because you said you haven't been doing it for all that long, and it looks like it's something that you're still really passionate about. So how did you kind of, discover cosplay and fall into it?
So I actually first, I say that I've been cosplaying seriously for like 2 or 3 years, but that's me like putting everything into it, going to conventions and, really sort of making it part of who I am. I actually first cosplayed back in 2015 when I left as an engineer and then was making the transition career-wise to a personal trainer. It was like a period of, 3 months there where I didn't have a job. I was going from having a full-time job to studying, and I had all this time, and AvCon, a convention here in Adelaide, was coming up, and I was like, hey, like, this is something cool that I want to go and do and go and see and be a part of. Like, what do I have to do to be a part of it? And I saw cosplay, and I was like, oh, I'd love to cosplay Zoro from One Piece. So I spent 3 months making a cosplay, went there and got a lot of love for that cosplay, and that day has still stuck with me. And then I got self-conscious and just stopped because I was like, nah, I need to grow up, and I just stopped doing it. So then gave it up for a little bit, but then picked it back up in 2020 during the lockdowns. was sort of like on and off with it, and then was like, nah, 2022, let's get serious with this, and yeah, started doing it seriously and taking things a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we're just getting like little snippets of your life so far. It's like, okay, it's been a bit of a journey. I'm gonna really nitpick at it soon, so don't worry. You're gonna hear the details soon. So far, what would you say is like your specialty? What do you think people kind of see as like, oh, it's Tony, like, oh, it's Cosplay Coach. Do you think it's like a name that's gonna stick? Do you think it's all about the muscles? It's all about the jawline? Like, what do you think? You're like, this is my favorite thing to do. This is what I'm known for. What do you think people would say?
The running joke with all of my friends in the cosplay community is I don't get recognized unless I have my shirt off.
Right,
so
right. I see.
If there's a character that is shirtless, Tony is cosplaying that character, and if there's a character that has a shirt on, he's not cosplaying that character. That's the running joke.
I see.
I don't. Am I happy with that sort of like
that association? Yep.
Yes and no, but I like to do other things outside of it as well. But that's definitely what I'm known for.
Okay. What's your favorite thing so far about being in the cosplay community, I suppose?
The community, actually. Like, I just love... Like, I came into the cosplay community in 2022, like I said, as, like, basically a nobody. No one knew me. I knew no one. My first convention was actually Gold Coast Supernova, and I went there not knowing anyone. I was just like, no, I'm just going just to have fun. And I met so many amazing people. I met so many like new friends out of it, and people just accepted me and welcomed me like I had been there for ages. And that's what I really loved about it. And it's sort of like, it's addicting going to conventions, and then people see me and like, oh, it's you, it's Cosplay Coach, and they grab a photo, we sit and we have a chat. And I just love being around people that obviously like-minded things. We enjoy the same sort of thing. I like hanging out with people like that. So yeah, that's been the biggest thing. That's like, I love that part of it.
Yeah. Cool. I think you've probably got the similar bug that I had, is just, it's a great place to meet people. People are willing to chat. There's just good vibes going around pretty much all the time, and it's fun to be a part of. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and like that's how you and I met, was at a convention. We just got talking, and then like here we are. We just great chemistry. And we've hung out.
Trying to figure out. It was quite literally at the table with your shirt off. And I just said hi, and you had a push-up thing going. I was like, okay, cool. We'll bond over I don't know, muscular definition and a bit of testosterone. Okay, cool. So whenever you see Tony, guys, just say, hey, I'd like to do some push-ups with you. He'd be glad to. That's his that's his raise.
Yeah, it's my thing. Like, I will do a push-up contest with anyone, and like I'm happy to lose. Not that it's happened very often.
No, I see.
But I'm happy to do some push-ups to people. It's always a good time.
Okay, so I want to get into the nitty-gritty, because the whole purpose is, rather than just be like, oh, cool, this is who you are, and this is what I'm all about, check out my page, etc., etc. You should go check out his stuff, by the way. But that being said, what I really wanted to get to know was, cosplay's obviously getting to this point in your life now where you do it because it's fun, you do it because you meet people, but it's also kind of shaped a lot of your life as you are now. Because you could have just been an electrical engineer, just doing your thing, come home, play games, and that's what a lot of people do, and that's fine. You could have just been a fitness coach, a PT, and just go to the gym and same thing, come home, do your thing, and that's fine. But cosplay's obviously kind of gotten wrapped up into this, and it seems like to be like one of your main focuses at this point in time. So I want to kind of uncover what's like the really nitty-gritty of how it led to that, and how that kind of has helped you shape your self-identity and gotten you to where you are today, and how that's still helping you. So let's run it all the way back. Now, you said you weren't always passionate about fitness. Cosplay is obviously something you picked up later in life. But what kind of person were you, like, growing up as a kid in school? Like, were you obviously you're very outgoing, you're very well spoken. I don't know if you've had a glow up or if you've just been always this good looking. Like, I don't know what the details are. So, what person were you as a kid growing up?
I definitely did have a glow up because I was the total opposite of everything you see as here today.
Yeah.
I was never the confident kid. I was never outgoing. I was always very shy, sort of like stuck to myself. Didn't like to, I wanted to hang out with friends, but like to go out and sort of like meet people, meet friends. Like I don't even think I had a proper girlfriend until like I left and started uni. Like I was like 22 or something. That was the first time I'd like had a proper relationship.
Right.
So before that, like talking with girls was a big thing to me that I couldn't do it.
Were you also at
Yeah, I was.
an all boys school like me, or was it just?
Yeah, I was at an all boys school, but we had like socials where
Yep.
it was like 7 different girls' schools. You'd go and meet them all, and like to do that, I didn't go to one until like final year, and even then, like I struggled and just
If
it
you're
was a mess.
if
Like
you're
I was
listening,
not a
guys, all boys schools, don't do it. If you got kids, don't send them to them. It's gonna make them terrible. No, okay. That's so. When uni happened, how did that girlfriend kind of come around? Was it something which you said, no, I gotta grow up, put my big pants on, and just talk to girls, or what happened there?
It's honestly I can't even remember. I think it was just like it was like a friendship group that then I like started talking with one girl just because we had like mutual friends, and then it just sort of happened. Obviously, it didn't last, but it was sort of like, oh, okay, like it's not that hard to talk to girls. Like it's you just talk to them like any other person.
Yeah.
And then, it wasn't until like even after uni and going into engineering, like I was still quite shy and quite timid and still very sort of unsure of my place in the world.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I left that and started as a coach and started taking my health, fitness, and career a little bit more seriously that I started to do a lot of self-development. So, prior to probably 2017, I was still very shy, very quiet, very unsure of who I am, what I want to do, where I want to be, all that sort of stuff. And my childhood was very much like that. I struggled to make friends. I didn't really have like a proper friendship group until like year 10. I struggled to fit in. I was always the sort of outsider. Wouldn't get invited to parties, wouldn't get invited out to just hang out anywhere. I was just, a Saturday night, I'd be at home playing PlayStation.
Right. Do you think that's because
So,
I don't know, because you felt like, oh, it's because I'm nerdy, it's because I play video games, I don't play sports like all the cool kids, and that's why I'm not good enough to make friends? Was it that kind of mindset, or?
I think it was a bit of everything. Like that was definitely part of it. Like I much preferred to just sit at home and just chill out and play video games, and other people wanted to go out and meet girls and meet people and get drunk and all that sort of stuff, and I was just like, nah, that's not me. Like
Yeah.
I don't like that. And then I finally found a group of friends that were like, hey, like we just want to hang out with you because we think you're pretty cool. Like we just want to hang out with you. Like come to our house and we'll just hang out and play games and do whatever. And then yeah, like that sort of like spurred me along to start being a little bit more sociable. Started making proper friendships and connections with people, and it just sort of grew from there. And then like I said, like it wasn't until 2017 where I started doing a little bit more self-development. Like, okay, like how can I be a better human? How can I, communicate better? How can I talk with people better? How can I form better relationships? And started doing a lot of like inner work and healing a lot of like childhood traumas and all that sort of stuff that you hear about in the self-development world. Like that's what I started doing in 2017, and it's been a long growth period, but and I'm still growing now.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time to sort of work out who I am, where I want to go with things. Still on that journey.
We're
Like,
still
doesn't
working on
ever
it.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't ever end because you're constantly learning new things about yourself, about the world, about anything. You're forever a beginner. So still making those daily learnings and changes about myself.
Yeah, I think 2017 was a big year for both you and me, my friend. I think because the catalyst for me, like I've mentioned before to everyone who already knows, like I had a breakup, a partnership of 6-7 years that ended, and
Yeah.
I was kind of forced to either, all right, learn to make friends, learn to be social, or you're going to go back to your parents' place and sit and play PlayStation. That's what it's going to be. So I kind of forced myself to do it, and it was the best thing I ever did. But For yourself, was there like a catalyst or something that kind of said, no, 2017, I need to kind of do something? What happened to you?
Yeah, so my thing was I was actually trying to get onto Australian Ninja Warrior.
Wow!
And I ruptured my ACL. I fell off an obstacle and completely destroyed my knee. So I had to have full knee reconstruction. Had to have half my cartilage taken out of my knee, and had like quite a bit of ligament damage and tendonitis and pain through that knee, which I still got a bit of pain these days, but it's a lot more manageable. And I just remember waking up in that hospital bed going, no, I am not going to let this defeat me. I'm going to come back and just be a better version of myself to, one, get on the show, and two, just, make something out of my life. And that was the thing that sort of spurred me to start, meeting new people, making new connections, especially in like the ninja community at the time. And then, in other aspects of my life, like in the fitness community, like at the gym that I was at, I barely talked with anyone. And then all of a sudden I had a knee injury and started talking with people. And then people were like, hey, you're actually like a really cool guy. Like you come off as like a dick, but you're actually really cool. Like let's actually hang out. So yeah. And then I made friends, and then the connections with like friends from high school, they deepened. And I've got friends that I've been friends with for like 20 years now, and like the connections are really, really strong there. So that was the moment that I was like, nah, I need to start doing a lot more self-reflection and overcome a lot of the fears that I have around everything. And just that was where I was like, nah, if I don't, I'm just going to go back to being a depressed engineer and hating my life.
Are you still kind of gunning for Ninja Warrior at this point in time, or?
Not anymore. The TV show got cancelled, unfortunately.
Right.
And that happened as I was putting more of myself into cosplay.
Right.
And it just felt like that was the right time to be like, nah, I think that door has closed for me now, and I'm happy to just leave that aspect of my life behind, still be in the community where I can and still compete and do the sport whenever I can and whenever I feel like it. But I'm happy with my decision to not put so much of myself into that, because it was a lot of hard work to get to the levels that I did.
Yeah.
But I want to take that energy and put it elsewhere now.
No, that's fair. Now, you mentioned as well, like coming from someone who was, not very social, someone who struggled to make friends and so on and so forth. You probably hear this a lot, just as much as I do, especially among men, where it's like, okay, I don't know how to get a girlfriend. I don't know where to start with improving myself. And the biggest advice you hear all the time is, bro, just go to the gym. Bro, just go to the gym. What are your thoughts on that as someone who does go to the gym, but someone who has kind of actively worked on themselves, not just, with your body and physically, but also, doing that inner work and, coming so far over the years? What's your kind of view on, that kind of advice?
So for me, the gym has always been something that I can always control the outcome of. Like, I can't control if I'm going to have a bad day, if, shit's going to hit the fan, pardon my French. But, like, I can't always control what happens around my life, but I can always control my efforts. And the gym has always been that thing for me, that I can go in, I can just clear my mind and focus on that thing that's in front of me, which is like, I need to do X amount of reps, I need to do this exercise. Like, I can just get clarity on my mind. And I've found that that's been really meditative, to just get in and just be like, cool, I can just switch my brain off for an hour and focus on this one thing. I get out, I feel great, I'm like, cool, that was a good session. You do have bad days, they all happen every now and then.
Yeah.
But for me, that was the sort of like the anchor. Like, when I was going through a lot of depressive moments in my life, I would always find myself happiest at the gym. And that helped me outside of the gym, because it was like, cool, I'm doing this hard thing, let's go do something else that's hard today. I've like had one win, and it sort of snowballs to, okay, cool, like if we try this other thing, we might have another win, and then we might have another win. And that sort of gave me confidence in other aspects of my life. So I believe that it does have, like, looking after your health and fitness does have, like, if looking after your physical health does have an impact on your mental health. So yeah, I definitely believe it is a thing, but making it your entire identity, just like go to the gym, bro, go to the gym, bro. It's so much more than that, and that's something that I always preach. Like, I'm only at the gym like 3 or 4 days a week at the moment because I've got so much other things in my life that enrich my life and are part of my life that I want to give energy to. I
Yeah,
don't
okay.
just want to be known as a gym rat that just spends all day at the gym, because there's so much more to life than that. And it took a lot of like time to realize that,
Yeah.
obviously. But once I had that, oh cool, like gym is, it gives me the confidence doing something hard to then go out and do more other hard things. That was sort of where I found improvements.
Cool. So anyone listening, if it's like, wow, just go to gym, bro. There's more to it than just go to the gym. Okay.
Oh, definitely. It's one aspect of it. It's not the entire thing. So
Yeah. No, I've definitely met people in my life who that is their personality, and there's a few characters I quite literally have met. They said, oh look, you got any problems, go to the gym. Oh, you don't know how to get girls, go to the gym. You don't know how to work out that business problem, go to the gym. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I will go to the gym, but I'm not gonna do just that. So no, thanks for kind of providing some insight into that. So kind of really good take on it.
Yeah, it's like personally, I think those people that are just like go to the gym, bro. I think that they do need to do a lot of inner work and be like, is there something more to life than just the gym? Like, yeah, like you may enjoy it and it's good to have drive and determination to do something with yourself in the gym, but there's so much more to life than just the gym. Like going out and meeting people. And like for me as the cosplay coach, like going out and helping people and changing lives and making a real impact in the world, like that's more important to me than just how much I can bench.
Yeah.
To be fair, like I don't care how much I can bench or deadlift. Like that's a personal goal.
Yeah.
But it has no impact on my overall life. If I can't give back to the people around me, if I can't enrich the world around me, then my deadlift number doesn't mean shit.
You actually mentioned before that you discovered cosplay at 2017, so you would have been early mid-20s or something by that stage, yeah?
2015, I was 23.
23, okay. Because I know a good majority of people, they discover it as, you watch anime as you're growing up. So, they dive straight into cosplay when they're 14, 13, whatever it is. God, like, I didn't even know that was a thing until I was 15. So I was like, all right, cool, let's try and make something, and that's kind of how we went into it. So, and I know for most people, from just who I've talked to as well, it's either, yep, I get into it, and they just keep going and going and going and going because you get addicted to it because it's really good fun. Yeah. Or they, do one or two costumes. They're like, you know what? They're the same for me, and I never see them again. And there's nothing wrong with that because, everyone looks at it differently. But
everyone's
for you,
different.
You kind of did it once or twice and you liked it, but then you stopped. What kind of triggered that?
So like I was saying, like I was very self-conscious about what other people thought of me. And I was probably looking at the wrong sorts of people to compare that to. Like I cosplayed and people actually came up to me and said, hey, like your Zoro cosplay is incredible, like I really love it, and I had like a lot of love around me that day. But then it was like the mainstream people that I felt like, looking at those people and letting their sort of thoughts of me impact what I do, that's why I got self-conscious and stopped. And then I realized, later on that it was like, no, that doesn't matter because they're not making me happy. Like this thing is making me happy. So that's why I got back into it.
Nice. So did you kind of find yourself on purpose distancing yourself from those kinds of people, or it kind of just was a natural occurrence that, those people kind of left my life and I feel, this is more important to me now, so I'm not even going to think about people like that? Because you're going to find people like that in your life when you meet them on a regular basis. Like there's going to be people who think like that.
It was more, I started to focus on the people that actually do support me and do like now I've got a big support group of people that they look at me anytime I cosplay and they're like, dude, this stuff is incredible. Like, this looks really fun. You look like you're having fun. You look like you're genuinely happy. Keep going with it. And those are the people that I choose to listen to. And like you said, like, you still meet those people that are like, oh, this is stupid. This is childish. You should grow up and blah, blah, blah. I choose to listen more to the people that support me now. And I understand that, yeah, it's other people's happiness isn't my idea of happiness anymore. I get to live the life that I want to live. And, you know, this is a big part of my life now, and it's making me happy. And I'm building a career around it. So, you know, just keep going. Like, don't listen to those people that tell you otherwise, because if you do, then you are going to end up unhappy. Sorry. So, yeah.
Oh, bro, I'm so proud of you. It brings a tear to my eye. It's the kind of stuff that I teach in my social skills stuff, but it's something, obviously, it doesn't just click overnight. You can't just tell someone, hey, don't listen to the haters, listen to the people who love you. But that, I don't think, really, really sits with you until, I think, you know, you have made that first step to distance yourself from people who give you that negative feedback, and you do start to surround yourself with the people who genuinely lift you up and make you feel good about what you're doing and who you are.
Yeah, 100%. And like, you need to go through those rough patches to have those learnings. And I went through a few rough patches where it was like, oh, now I'm going through this rough patch. Like the roughest patch that sort of taught me that was when at the start of 2022, I left one gym, went to another gym, very toxic environment, and then that taught me that it was like, no, like, listening to other people isn't going to make me happy. If I listen to these people that actually support me, that's genuinely going to make me happy. And that's what led me to where I am today in terms of the cosplay community and life and business. Listening to the people that actually do support me and want to see me do really, really well, I've ended up a lot happier and a lot better for it. So but like I said, had to go through that tough time to be able to realize that and learn that for myself.
I think it's one of those things too, because when you've probably had this very same experience when, you know, you are at your lowest. It's really, really hard to kind of see, well, how is this going to get any better? I'm still miserable. Where's the way out? But it's only really when you have kind of put in the work and saying, you know, it's another day. I'm going to have one Wednesday, which is go to the gym. If that's what it's going to be, I can control that. But, you know, over time, those small wins will build up, and you will get to a point in your life which you are a lot happier with yourself. And I think it's only at that stage you can look back at all those really crappy times, which really sucked, and you're thinking, I kind of really appreciate that I went to go through that, because now I can actually see this is what a bad time looks like, and this is what a good time looks like, and I can appreciate them both.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's 100% right. Like at the time when I was going through that toxic, my boss and mentor, you know, basically said, I don't have a future in the fitness industry, don't have a future as a coach, and basically told me to go back to therapy and rethink my life.
Oh.
At the time, I was crushed.
Oh.
I was struggling hardcore, and like, it took a toll on my mental health. It took a toll on my physical health. Like, I was physically sick, and, you know, at that time, I was like, how the hell am I going to move forward from this? But now I look back on it and I'm like, hey, like, I needed that. I needed that as a wake-up call to be like, nah, you need to keep going with this because you have something special to give to the world. And now I'm able to give that gift to the world, and I'm actually surrounded by people that now do really support me. So
what was the decision that you made in a moment like that? Because obviously someone who's your respected mentor, your coach, someone who, you know, you look up to and in your mind has years of wealth and knowledge and experience, and whose opinion on paper, you know, would be great to respect. What made you say, basically, fuck you, I'm not going to listen to you, I'm going to do what I want and I believe? The reason I ask is because I had a very similar thing, both with cosplay all the years. Every single family member asked me, it's like, are you still doing cosplay? Why are you still doing it? When are you going to stop? And even with coaching for social skills, I've had so many people say, it's like, I don't think you should do it. I don't think you're qualified enough. It's not going to work out. For you personally, what was, you know, a moment which you said, no, what was that, like, tick of self-belief that made you say, it's like, no, this is what I want, so I'm going to do it?
It was, for me, it was a gut feeling. I've dealt with depression and anxiety for quite a while, and that was one of the reasons why I left engineering. And like when I first got diagnosed by a doctor with depression and anxiety, they put me on medication. And one of the things that I remember them saying to me was like, it's either a chemical imbalance or it's an environmental imbalance. That's the mechanism of depression. So for me, I didn't agree, like just with me being a health coach and trying to optimize my own health, I didn't really agree with the whole, oh, you're depressed, here, take more medication.
Yeah.
It didn't sit right with me. That's not to say that medication doesn't have a place for some people. It definitely does, but for me, it didn't. I chose to go with changing my environment and changing the way that I view the world.
Right.
And having that knowledge previously, going through that experience, I was like, nah, this environment is like, I'm depressed now because this environment is putting so much stress and pressure on me. How can I change this environment? So then I went and talked with some other people that, other mentors and coaches that I do respect, and I've known them for a while, but have probably neglected them and what they were saying to me for a while and just didn't listen to them. But then when I actually talked with them, I sat down and I was like, oh, they actually care about me, not this guy.
Right.
These ones who have, I still feel bad now, but I know that deep down, like both of my current coaches, they do forgive me. They're like, they just sat down with me and were like, come work with us. You have a great thing. Go and push forward with it. And that was, that knowledge of like, oh, the environment is causing me to feel depressed, and these guys that, even though like I kind of went against their back and went with someone else, but then like came back to them and they forgave me for it, that was the moment where I was like, nah, I need to, like, this is a thing that I need to go forth and do. And I also had that gut feeling that, no, like, this is what I want to do. This guy isn't helping, so let's look for other avenues to do it.
So you consciously kind of made those choices for yourself, by yourself, even, despite your mentors saying, oh, this mentor's not good for you, or I don't feel like this guy's giving me the advice that sounds like it's going to help me, so I'm going to try and, seek out another opinion from, other people who are close to me, and see what they have to say.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And
that's exactly it.
With your gut, that's cool.
Yeah, like the current mentors that I've got, they from day one, like they had this massive belief in me, and they were like, yeah, this guy isn't helping you. You need to get away from him. Let's work on doing this, and this is how you will go forward and be successful. And then that's where I just rolled with it, and here we are. So.
Oh, and by the sounds of it sounds like when you've kind of got back into cosplay, the community itself has been nothing but a positive impact or a support in, reinforcing what you do want to do with yourself and with your business and your life. It sounds like it's something you want to kind of still be involved in for the long run.
Yeah, definitely. And like it's, giving back to the community is something that I always want to do, and just seeing like people happy. And like I had one of my clients the other day, she's basically said to me, she's like, hey, because of you, like I actually want to get back into cosplay more and do more with it. Like I've sort of been like in and out of it, but now because like we've been training together, I actually want to get back into it more, and you've inspired me to keep going again and show me that, hey, this can actually be a really positive thing again. So being able to change people and then receive that positivity back that's what's kept me going with it.
I think when you kind of have that, it's, the positive feedback loop, right? You do something, the feedback's good, it makes you want to keep doing good things, and it keeps coming back to it. But, as a coach, as a fellow coach, you probably have the same thing, and you give them your experience, your advice, and say, look, this is my experience, you should try to do this. I'm going to keep you accountable for it. They go off and do it, and they come back and tell you, oh my God, I can't believe it was that easy all along. I just needed to do something very simple and have a bit of faith in myself. And it just makes you want to keep on doing exactly what you're doing in that case. So
yeah, exactly. Like it's very positive when clients get results. That pumps me up, because it's like, hey, I did that. Like I gave this person something that they genuinely value, which is more than like a physical item. It's something that
the most satisfying thing.
Yeah, it's such a cool feeling. Like I one client who she won't mind me talking about this because she's like posted it all over her socials. But she, like, when I first met her, she was walking with a cane. So she could barely walk. She struggled to walk and stand up. The other week, she was deadlifting 70 kilos, and now she can go about her life like quite normal. She like has a life again because of like my help, and that's that positive feedback loop. Like, I've just given her nothing but positivity and just be like, here, you've got this, you got this, you got this, and then she's come back and it's like, no, this is life changing, and that's huge, and that gives me drive to keep going in the cosplay community, because I feel like there's so many people out there that I can help, and I want to help. Like, I want to be able to help everyone. I know that I can't, but I want to be able to help and change as many lives as I possibly can.
So I think at the end of the day, that's all it really comes down to, isn't it? Because I think for a lot of people, they don't know who to look for as, a mentor. They don't know who to look for as someone who's going to be that positive influence. And it really only just takes one person, instead of telling them, no, you suck, or no, you shouldn't do that, or no, that's a bad idea, to just tell them, yes, you can, yes, you should, you've got this. And just anyone who doesn't kind of have those people in your life, and, you feel like everybody around you is, maybe your friend circle, maybe your parents, they're kind of making you not feel great about yourself. It's not easy to kind of just drop everything and just cold turkey and cut them off just overnight, but it is something I think it's something to reflect on. Just kind of seeing who you are surrounding yourself with, and if for a majority of it, it's not people who are making you feel good about yourself and what you're doing, and making you feel like you can do great things with yourself, it's probably time to start finding a new friend group. Really, that's the end of it.
Yeah. And there's like, I don't know who said the quote, but it's like, you are the average of the five people you surround yourself. Yeah. Like, that's a big thing in like the self-development and the fitness world and the business world, where it's like, if you're surrounding yourself with people that you deem to be better and inspirational, then you're going to automatically raise yourself to that same level.
Absolutely.
You like train, like, I'll use a physical example. Like, if I was to train in a gym, well, actually, no, I'll use a better example for like the cosplay audience. It's like, if you're playing Pokemon, you can't grind to level 100 by battling a level 1 Caterpie all the time. You need to go and battle the level 50 Lapras or whatever, or a Rhyhorn, to get that better experience, to then grow and go further in the game, to get your levels up. It's the same thing in life, is you need to always surround yourself by people who are going to push you and push you to be better, not people that are going to bring you down, because you won't grow otherwise. That's
a really good analogy. I was thinking of one on the top of my head. I'm fucking terrible with analogies. I'm like, wow. You heard it from Tony. Don't fight the Caterpie. Fight the Lapras.
I literally thought of that on the spot.
That's amazing. No,
like,
honestly,
hey, wait,
that's really good.
It's actually really good.
I really like that one. I'm actually going to type that down right now. Hang on. Don't.
So
Right.
I'm going to save that one and make some content with that one, because that was actually really good.
I'm going to pinch your content. I'm going to do that right now. That was fantastic.
You have my permission.
So, it's not easy to make changes immediately, obviously. It's quite difficult.
No.
I've been working with I've been working with my own client, actually, who, same thing, is just, I want to be a better person. I want to kind of surround myself with positive people, but the only friend group I have is from high school. And the more I've been talking to you, the more I realise they're really toxic. Like, every time I suggest I want to try something or do something, they think it's a bad idea, or they think, it's going to take too long, or you're crap at it. And I said, dude, you are with the wrong people. And, it's difficult when that's the only thing that you know. When, the only people... Because I think it's a very, unfortunately, common thing for guys especially to, put other guys down as a joke. And they say, oh, it's just a joke, bro. Like, don't take it so seriously. But if you're being told by your dude bro friends all the time, it's like, no, bro, you suck. It's like, oh, no, that's crap. Or it's like, oh, why'd you do that? You're stupid. You're with the wrong people. You really are.
Yeah, 100%.
So, that all being said, you've kind of wound up in a place where, you've put in the work. It started off coming from a place of just trying to find out where you are with fitness, with engineering, going for, the television show. becoming a celebrity. You've got the looks of television, I'm just going to say it. And, you know...
It's a goal. It's a goal, don't worry.
And then, you know, you've come to the point now in which, you know, you've come to a community in which everyone has just been nothing but positive. For, you know, anybody who you feel is in a place where you feel like you were. So, I know for myself, you know, coming to cosplay was nothing but freeing because it was an opportunity to talk to people and meet people. And you know, not be feared of. Sorry, not be fearful for being judged for being a nerd, for being a geek.
Yeah, exactly. People will celebrate it.
People will celebrate it because everyone's kind of in the same boat there. But for someone who, you know, looks at someone like yourself, and I know this because I'm not a big dude. I've got a very thin frame, and just that's just how it is, and I'm comfortable with it. I'm now comfortable with it. And there's going to be people out there who say, no, you can just lift some weights, bro, go to the gym, and look, I've got other priorities at this point in time. But for someone, I'm asking you, kind of, as someone who's been in that position, who's, you know, maybe they're struggling with depression. Maybe they're someone who looks at someone like you with your bulging muscles and think, well, fuck, I'll never get there. That's going to take forever. Or someone who's just not feeling great about their health, or they're not feeling great about their position in life. From your experiences, what would you say to somebody like that?
Well, the first thing I would say is don't give up. Like, that was my thing, was like, if I can just keep going, then something will happen. Like, even if it's, you know, even if the only thing I don't give up on is my health and fitness, something good will come out of that. And that was a really sort of liberating thought, where it was like, if I just keep going with this, something positive will come out of that. But then, like, talking realistically and like long term, that's where I would sort of say to focus on. It's like, don't focus on the immediate, oh, I've failed here, because you're always going to fail. Like, you're never going to win 100% of the battles that you fight. You're always going to have a loss. You're always going to fall on your face. Something's always going to happen that's going to set you back. But if you don't give up and you get up and try again and try something new, then that gives you another opportunity to learn and another opportunity to reach that long-term goal. So thinking long-term, like, hey, like, I may have, you know, let's go back to the Pokemon analogy, because we both really love that.
It's great.
Like, if you you know, you go up against the gym leader, you're under-leveled, you lose. It's like, okay, what do? Do you turn the game off and never play it again? No, you go back, you grind a little bit, you learn about the different type matchups, you learn which attacks are going to be most effective, and then you go and you kick that gym leader's ass, and then you go and do it again to the next one. You might have those setbacks where you might lose. You might need to, you know, go back and rethink your strategy. You might need to go back and learn something new in order to progress yourself further. And that's how you should approach life. Is like, it's not, you either win or you learn. You never actually lose. That's something that I've always sort of believed, like, since I've started doing a lot more sort of self-development, is you either win or you lose. And every little loss, quote unquote, that I've had has taught me something that I've then used to further myself. So for someone that is like sort of struggling to sort of get started with sort of self-development or struggling with depression, like, think long term and think, like, what's one small thing that I can do that might get me forward? And if that didn't work, what's another different thing that I can try that might get me forward? And just try something new and try and make a little bit of progress every day, because, you know, if you improve by 1% every day, that just compounds over time.
Yeah. Oh. So the learning experience, I think, is a really big thing, because I think a lot of the clients I work with too, it sounds, to some people, it sounds nonsensical, but it is all about a mindset thing and how you approach it and how you look at it. Because I think it's very easy to say, oh, look, I failed, couldn't beat the gym leader, I'm turning it off. Or, I can't figure out how to beat the gym leader, well, guess I'm just no good at it. But it really is all about, okay, if that didn't work, what else can I try? How else can I approach the situation? Because I think the second that you, say, oh, I turn the game off and it's over, well, it is. You're welcome to just not fight any more Pokemon. Go and become a I don't know, the Pokemon man if you need to, and
Yeah, exactly.
stuff like that. But I think a good thing to tie into this as well is if you are kind of stuck in a place where I've got this gym leader which I just cannot seem to figure it out. I can't. I've tried so many different things, getting really frustrated. I think that is the time in which you probably should seek out a mentor, seek out someone who has been through that journey before, and can give you a bit of advice on it. So, I think another way to look at it too is, for example, say Tony is like the champion, like he's top of the Elite Four, and you're thinking, God, how do I get my muscles to that stage? How do I get my fitness to that level? I'm just starting here in Pallet Town all over again. I can't just go from Pallet Town to the champion. I think it's just like what... God, I love this Pokemon gel. I'm going to use it forever now. Yeah. Because those gym leaders are kind of like stepping stones. They're steps to go up.
Stepping stones, exactly.
You don't go from, Pallet Town straight to champion. You need to go through that journey. And, I don't think anyone's ever played a Pokemon game said, I just want to have my end game team and be on the board. Because the fun of the games is exactly that, the journey, learning what Pokemon you like, learning what things work, learning what things don't work. And I think you can use that to anything you encounter, whether it be, fitness, business, your relationships, the way that you do things. But, the second that you say, this is too hard, I'm not going to bother, or this is too hard, I'm no good at it, that's when, you really do get stuck. So,
100%. And like you said just then as well, I didn't actually touch on it, and I wish I did, but like getting a mentor and someone to help guide you sometimes as well is exactly that. That helped me immensely. Like I found a coach that he didn't give up on me, and he was like my first coach that I got. He didn't give up on me. He would constantly push me to be better and constantly push me in terms of fitness and business. And then when I felt like I was good enough to sort of go about it on my own, we both agreed that it's like, hey, like, we'll go our own separate ways, but we've got a good relationship. And like I still have a really good relationship with him today, but without that mentor showing me the way and showing me, again, which Pokemon to fire, what levels and whatnot, like I wouldn't have gotten to where I'm at today. So getting a mentor definitely does help.
That's awesome. God, I am so glad I'm so glad for the self-help sphere. I'm so glad I've met someone else who's kind of done the work as well, because it's just very reassuring and reinvigorating that it's like, oh, cool, just if I meet other people who are such a joy to talk to, and they've also put in the work, it's like, well, fuck, I've put in the work. We both must be doing something right here. Which is fantastic.
It is.
Just one final thing too, because you mentioned as well that to me just earlier personally, I don't think we've touched on it yet, but you're going to attempt to enter WCS this year, right? And for anyone who's a budding cosplayer who maybe they haven't taken their first steps or they're wanting to do competition, because is this the first time you've done a competition for anything, for cosplay?
So for cosplay, I have entered one little local competition here in Adelaide at Oz Comic Con. But I've never done any other cosplay competition like this one before, because like personally, I don't feel my skills are that great in cosplay world, but I've competed in other things, in other sports, and done quite well in that. So I'm taking that sort of same mindset of I won't know until I try into this.
Yeah, I think at that point in time, you won't really know where the bar kind of sits with yourself. And competition. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you good at it? Do you feel like you're good at it? Is this something you actually enjoy doing? And you won't kind of find that out until you actually take a step into that world. So,
exactly.
Is that something that's... No, you have been posting progress. It's not a secret. If you haven't followed Tony already, go do it. Every link is down in the description, etc., etc. All the good stuff. But for someone who is a cosplayer, someone who feels self-conscious like, you once were, about, getting into the community or wondering what people think of you or just wanting to do it because you want to do it, what kind of advice would you have for someone like that who's hesitant to, quite literally put themselves out there so other people are going to see them and potentially get judged? What kind of advice would you have for someone like that?
So for someone that's jumping on a competition stage, or just cosplaying in general?
Let's say cosplay in general, and maybe even on a competition stage in the same sphere. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll answer them as separate questions then. So like if someone like I get it all the time, like people will be like, "Oh, how do I get into cosplay? How do I do this? Like the best advice that I can give is just like, all right, look at your favorite character that you would be like, yeah, I really like this character's vibe. I connect with this character, and it could be anyone. Like for me, it was always Zoro from One Piece. His determination, the death of his best friend. I had the same sort of thing, and like promises that we both made to our best friends, like that really resonated with me and
Yeah.
connected with me. So and his desire to just like keep training and pushing hard, like that was something that I really resonated with. So when I like picked him as my first cosplay, I was like, okay, cool. Like, what steps do I need to take to do that? And when I got into cosplay, there wasn't many options besides make it yourself. These days, you have the option of, you can go and buy one off the internet, jump into it, and then off you go to a convention. And if that's the thought of that is still really sort of like, oh, I can't do that just yet, then the best advice would be like just go to a convention and meet people that have the same interests as you. And you can spot them a mile away because they're in cosplay. If they're in cosplay, they generally have the same interest as you. And then go and give them a genuine, honest compliment about their cosplay. So, like that's something that I will always do when I go and meet someone new is always compliment them on their cosplay, give them a genuine compliment, something that I really, really love, and it always comes from like inside because I genuinely do love cosplay and love the effort that some people put into it. Give that person a genuine compliment, ask to take a photo, and then you might strike up a conversation, things might click, and like you and I, like it just might build into a friendship from there, and then that will help you build your confidence to then be like, hey, yeah, I do actually have friends that support me now, and I actually do want to cosplay. So that's how I would go about it if I was getting back into it again, or if I was starting from scratch. Like, find a character that you like. If you really do like it, you don't need to be a professional and go all out. You can just like buy the outfit, and heck, you don't even need to buy a wig. You can just like
Just
do it
freeball
just
it?
like, oh, I like the outfit. And freeball it, yeah. there's no right or wrong way to cosplay. The fact that people cosplay and want to celebrate the mediums, characters, whatever that we love, that's awesome, and I really support that and really love that. So that's for someone getting into cosplay. For competition, I think it's all comes down to your mindset. So I'll talk on like where my headspace is at with WCS. Like I'm going into WCS, like my mindset is I'm going to win.
Yep.
I'm not thinking about anything else, but I'm going to win. And next year I'm going to Japan.
Yep.
I'm going to be, and my partner and I, we're going to be the representatives for Australia. Like that's all I'm thinking about. So my efforts are like 100% focused on making that a thing. But then on the back end, I know, and through previous competition experience, through martial arts, ninja, all that sort of stuff, that if I lose, it doesn't matter. There's always another competition.
Yeah.
So my mind is focused on, I've already won this. I don't have to worry about winning because I've already won.
Okay.
But then, if something does happen, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because there's always another opportunity. There's, like I said, you either win or you learn.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. I've never kind of seen it through that sphere before, so that's really cool. Wow, look at me. Look at me learning.
It's something that and like we said before, like I had to go through the hardships of beating myself up after competitions for not winning and feeling like a failure. I had to go through all of that to then realize that like, hey, like it actually doesn't matter. Like you go into these competitions because you love what you're doing. Go out there and have fun, give it your all. If you win, excellent. Like you've done yourself proud. But if not, there's another competition next week that you can try again in. Doesn't matter. No one's gonna think differently of you.
Yeah.
The only person that will think differently of you is yourself. But if you realize that, hey, like I gave it my best shot, let's try and improve for next time, you're gonna have a great time.
I think that's a really big thing actually that you mentioned. I think something that really holds people back from even starting is the fact that, if I fail, if I lose, if I don't do as well as I think, people are going to think about me differently. People are going to look at me through a different lens. And the reality is they're not. I think they're going to be from all the times I've entered and haven't won, which is more than I've lost more than I've won. Put it that way. People don't look at you any differently.
Yeah, that's and like you look at like the classic quote for Michael Jordan is like he's missed thousands of shots, like, and all of those shots that he's missed helped him make the shots that made him who he is today. And it's the same thing in this. Like I've sat in and watched cosplay competitions, and like the winners are amazing, but then all the other entrants are equally as amazing, and I'm just equally as blown away by everyone that's on that stage. And I just want to go up and just tell everyone how amazing they are, because you know, getting on the stage is a win.
Absolutely.
Like walking out in and having the guts to go out and do a competition, because it's not easy, that's a huge win, and that's something to be celebrated. And then, you know, obviously there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. Unfortunately, it's the whole thing of a competition. But in my eyes, like, you're still a winner because you went out and gave it a go.
I think that's a really good way of looking at it. It's kind of lowering your own expectation, or setting the bar, your expectation bar, I suppose, a lot lower. So in this case, it's not, I'm only going to be proud of myself if I win. It should be, I've already won the second I stepped on that stage. Just like going to the 100%. Gym, you have succeeded the second that you step foot into the gym today. Or for
100%.
For myself with social coaching, like, you've already won the second that you walk up to them and say hi. Whatever happened in that conversation afterwards doesn't matter. Like, you took that first step. So,
yeah, that's 100%. I like exactly like that's exactly how it is.
Excellent, we made it. But apart from that, I think we're kind of getting to our hour. We did it. We made the chemistry work, and we made it. So I was actually saying in last week's episode, actually, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know if it's going to be fun. If the vibes are off, it might be a fucking 20-minute podcast. I don't know. So I'm glad we kind of made it to an hour, which is really cool. But how was your experience just having a chat, doing something like this?
Oh, I love this. Like, I love having a chat with, like, especially when the vibes are good, like you and I have. Like, I think, like, especially you and I, like, we met and just, like, clicked straight away. It's good to have a chat like this and just talk and just be able to go off on tangents. Like, I'm known for going off on tangents, but, like, talk heart to heart, passionately about something like all the stuff that we've talked about has been really, really good. And it's something I always look forward to, and it's something that I really want to do more of.
Excellent.
So,
well, thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Likewise, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, very welcome. But just before we go, did you want to do a quick shout out for yourself, your channels, etc., etc.? Say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug. The stage is going to be yours for the next 30 seconds. So go hard.
I'm pretty easy to find on pretty much every channel. YouTube, not that I post there, but like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's cosplay_coach. Pretty much everywhere. I've made that my brand and identity, so I'm everywhere as cosplay_coach.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much again for joining us. For anyone else who has listened in this far, thank you very much for joining us. As you can see, this podcast is going to be a little bit different. Hope you don't mind the format. If you do, let me know, either on the YouTube channel or on our Instagram, as you know, JustBeCos Cosplay Podcast. God, I can't even remember what I'm going to actually double check. This is embarrassing. Our cosplay podcast name is a little bit... Okay, there we go. JustBeCos.cast. That's where you can leave comments. I'd really like to hear your feedback if you liked this kind of thing. Do you like Tony's deep baritone voice? Should he become a voice actor? Do you like this format where it's just audio only? Do you want me to, I don't know, set up a camera somewhere? What did you like? What did you dislike? Tell me some guests you'd like to see. Give me that feedback, please, because I'm going to run with it and see how we go. But, Tony, thank you very much for being my guinea pig.
Thank you, Jeremy.
And, we'll post this and see how we go. And to everyone else, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.